Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Sacred Sisterhood podcast. So, interesting times we are in right now. I'm actually supposed to be getting ready to leave on my ayahuasca retreat, but for the second month in a row, the company has weirdly rescheduled it or canceled it. So I am taking this as a sign from the universe that I'm not supposed to be doing my ayahuasca ceremony with this specific company. And they have a no refund policy, but this is kind of like the second time they've donkeyed me around. So this morning, because they basically had said, well, if you like, you can fly to Switzerland to do our ceremony there. And I'm like, well, no, I can't just fly to Switzerland last minute like that. I have a life. In Switzerland, yeah. Anyways, so I just put it out there. I'm like, well, even though they have a no refund policy, they're going to refund me my money. And this morning she texted me back and she said, I am so sorry that this has happened. Yes, we will refund you your money. Because when I tried to get my money back last time, when they basically changed the dates on the ceremony and didn't tell me, even though I had fully paid and registered for it, and they had the full 3-day retreat without me while I was actually in Sri Lanka when it was supposed to be the week I came home from Sri Lanka. And they refused to refund my money. They said, well, you can just do next month's ceremony. So anyways, long story short, I exercised my sovereign power in that moment and just put it out there that I will get my money back, and it looks like I am. So celebrating that. We are approaching the 12/12 portal. December 12th, we have the full moon in Gemini, and this is so much more than a full moon. This portal is opening up the portal of energy of Winter Solstice on December 21st, as well as on December 26th, Boxing Day, for those of you in Canada and the States. That is a solar eclipse. So we have a lot of really juicy energy happening right now. And this time of year tends to be everyone's so overstimulated with shopping and Christmas parties and just overbooking themselves rather than really honoring the season and the stillness that our bodies are calling us to come into, to honor the rhythm of this season, to honor the rhythm of nature, right? Like when you look outside, the trees are bare. Nothing is growing. In some places there's snow on the ground is frozen or in the process of freezing. Nature is not producing at this time in the northern hemisphere. She is coming into full stillness, into sleep, in hibernation, in order to prepare for the fertility that she requires in the spring, right? And so this season is just as important as the fruitfulness and the abundance of spring and summer, when our seeds are planted and growing and then harvested, because this time is when we come into stillness and harness our energy, sit on our energy, and allow it to build, allow it to gestate, allow it to recover. So this is the ultimate time to really be spending extra time in your meditations, to be getting deeper into the quantum fabric and into the 0 point field, to take your paintbrush onto the canvas of it to create what it is that you desire to create in 2020, right? Because we all know that come like March, we're going to really start to feel really expansive and a lot of energy beginning to move through us, and we're going to be birthing massive creations, and we're going to be more in a place of, the days are getting longer, so, you're going to have more social gatherings, maybe outside, or barbecues and drinks on the patio as springtime starts to shift into summer, right? And so we do need that. We do move a lot more energy in the spring and summertime naturally, because our lives are just more engaged at that time. So it's very, very important to honor the stillness of this time, to prepare for the seeds that we are destined to sow come springtime, right? And not only on 12/12, and I talked about this a little bit at the beginning of my last week's podcast, or the week before that, I'm not sure when that launched, is on 12/12 we are receiving our final ascended template. So there is a blast of cosmic light that's going to be coming down on 12/12 to come into our crowns and to completely dismantle any of the old systems, any of the grids and templates that are still anchored into the 3D, in order to integrate in like our ancient template in which we are the trees, we are the soil, we are holding the Akasha records within our bodies, the ancient template in which we remember all of our lifetimes to the full and all of our power to the full multitude of that which is our power, in order to bring that into the matrix to do what we came here to do. We signed contracts to this. We made agreements to this in the stars. We came down from star systems down into Earth to help Earth at this time. And we have lived many, many, many incarnations to gather the skills, to gather the wisdom, to gather the memories, to gather the gifts, the talents, the abilities, all of it to prepare for this lifetime. And this lifetime is now. We are here. We are in it. Come 2020, there's no more of this like ego spiral, like playing into our fears, allowing scarcity and slavery and poverty consciousness to rule us. No, that's done. That's done. It's done. It's done. We dismantled that in 2019. And if you are still seeing that reflected in your reality, you got some work to do in your inner reality. We are so supported. So supported. And you may be seeing on Facebook timelines that you are following, and just the conversation in the spiritual community. And I even did a podcast on this last week. We're talking union consciousness. We're no longer talking about divine feminine is rising. The divine feminine has already rose. She is here. She has done her work within us. And now we are coming into union with the masculine. We are healing the masculine. The king codes are coming online. The queen codes were coming online the past couple of years, and now the king codes are like, okay, I'm here to provide, I'm here to support, I'm here to hold you. But that requires us to also dismantle the toxic systems, the old patriarchal systems that cannot exist in these higher frequencies. And we're going to see the dismantling of that in 2020. So to say that we all play a part in the grid, in the matrix to help support this is an understatement. Everything, the veil is going to completely drop. We're going to completely remember who we are. We're going to completely remember what it is that we're here to do. Our higher self is integrating in. She already is integrated in, actually. And so all of the illusions, all of the fog, all of the fears, all of these distortions are going to collapse and clear. And in order for us to, it's going to be like that. Like a snap of the fingers, and it's just like, whoa, I know who I am. I know what I've come here to do. I know what my gifts are. I know what my magic is. I know what I need to do. And I am so supported in doing that. Masculine energy is flooding in to hold us in the rising. We are here to help Earth. We are here to help humanity. We are here to heal. And the masculine is coming in to protect, to provide, to support. We can only expand as much as we feel held to do and safe to do so. Well, he is here. And I can tell you that my business completely changed when I stopped resisting the masculine and I welcomed him in. I welcomed him in to be my provider, to be the one who holds the channels in which my energy moves through, to be my supporter, to co-create with me, to lead me and to guide me. And so if you are still in this place as a woman, which most people listening to this are women, where you are resisting the support of the masculine, where you are finding that you're guilt tripping yourself or overworking yourself, it's an invitation for you to dive in and finally heal this toxic masculine programming that you've been carrying in your DNA, in your bones, in your cells for centuries, in order for you to walk into 2020 and be met with the support, the wealth, the resources, the tools and the ideas for you to do what you came here to do in this matrix. Whew. channeling. Let me get a drink of water. So this is real stuff, ladies. We're really in it right now. We're really, really in it. With this template that's coming in, we have to be willing to dismantle and surrender and let go all of that which is not in alignment. Who you think you are now is going to completely change. I'm sure of it. Because everything's just going to completely, the veil is going to drop, the illusions are going to drop, and it's just going to click in. Everything's just going to click in, and you're going to be like, damn, I know what it is. I know what I am. I know what I'm supposed to do. And you're going to have the power and the confidence behind you to do such. And if you are struggling with the ego aspect, with the fear aspect, with the resistance towards it, there is so much support available to you in the cosmos from your team to assist you in dismantling that. Healing is coming so easy and so rapidly. What used to take like 2, 3, 4, 5 months to, let go of this limiting belief, let go of this scarcity distortion. It's happening in a meditation. It's happening with a declaration. It's happening with you just speaking out loud that you are clear, canceling, deleting, blessing, and releasing that distortion, that limiting belief, that plug in your grid. You're sending it back to source, and you are activating the abundance code. You are activating the wealth consciousness. You are activating your sovereign power. Whatever it is that you bless it, release it, and then you call in what you want instead, or you activate what you want instead within you. It's happening so quickly. We are operating in a different dimension. So everything's flooding to us so rapidly. Manifestations are happening really, really quickly. The good and the bad, right? So, if you are worrying about something playing out in the wrong way, you got to catch yourself. You got to catch yourself and not put too much energy into that, and surrender that to source and create what it is that you want instead in your mind's eye. I've been seeing it like that. It's incredible. But also, if you're not on top of your thought patterns, and if you're not on top of your ego stuff, so quickly you can be manifesting what it is that you don't want, right? So be very mindful, be very careful. There's also some other things that I want to talk about what I'm noticing is within myself, my thoughts have kind of completely gone silent in a sense, and it's just, you may be hearing my dog walking in the background. Her groomer was in Colombia for 3 weeks, so her nails are a little bit longer than what they should be right now. But we're gonna go see Anita on Friday, aren't we, Lila? Yeah, Friday we're gonna get a bath and groom. What I'm noticing in my own mind is that my mind's gotten very quiet and very clear. And I feel more grounded and more powerful and more rooted within myself than I have ever felt. I have such trust in what 2020 has in store. I have such trust in what is coming into my experience now, because I am seeing my outer reality now reflect all the work that I've been doing in my inner reality for the last 6 months, the really deep stuff around collapsing scarcity consciousness, collapsing poverty consciousness, collapsing slavery consciousness, welcoming the divine masculine in as my provider, and so forth. And now all of these tools and resources and everything's just flowing to me so easily. And it's beautiful. But there are also days where I'm noticing there's a lot of interference, where I am seeing faces and hearing voices and thoughts that are not mine. I believe they may be from neighbors, from my community, and so forth, maybe stuff that I picked up on the TV. And so there are some days where it takes me longer to disconnect from that collective consciousness, chattery fear grid, to plug into the sovereign power, to plug into my source consciousness than others. And you may be noticing that too, that some days you're just like, your mind is really clear. There's no chatter. You're just very anchored in your energy, in your power, in your divinity, in your sovereignty. And then there are other days where you're like, just WTF, what is all of this that's going through my mind? And it's just chatter, 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 chatter. And it's just like excessive. There's a lot of psychic attacks that are happening right now. So it's coming through from TV. It's coming through from media. It's also coming through in the astral plane. So the astral plane is like where you go, where you kind of shift into as you're falling asleep. And there is a war happening in the astral plane between the dark and the light. So there's a lot of entities and beings that are trying to get into people's fields when they're sleeping, when they're unaware, when they're in like trance-like states watching TV, and so forth. So it's very, very important that you be the gatekeeper of your subconscious mind, which I do talk about this regularly. When you're watching TV, before you put on a movie, before you put on a show, set the intention. Call in your team or your guides or whoever you feel protected by. I usually call in my higher self and I call in Archangel Michael. And I just say, I'm now placing a 12D shield of light up between me and the TV. I am here to merely observe the program. I am not here to be programmed by the program. And so I set my intention that anything that's happening on that TV, nothing is to be programming into my unconscious or subconscious mind. Okay? You also need to be doing that before you fall asleep. I had something very disturbing happen to me. It was this past week at some point. I fell asleep without putting my shield up and without asking for my higher self to be the gatekeeper of my Akasha records or unconscious mind or conscious mind or subconscious mind. And I just said it. Astral realm. And as a result, I had a dream, but it was more real than a dream, where this entity, this being, was having sex with me. And I felt a lot of pleasure moving through my body, and it felt so real. But at the same time, I was thinking, I don't want this. I don't want this. And it was like I was captivated by this person in my dream. I didn't recognize the person yet. This person, or this face, this being, was playing a role of someone in my life. And now I've had sex dreams before, but this was different. This was significantly different. And I think it was the next day or the day after, I was watching Asat on YouTube. She does lucid living TV, and she talks a lot of like controversial topics. She talks about what's going on in the astral realm. I really appreciate the work that she's doing in the world. And she brought up this very thing, that sexual energy is being harvested right now in order to fuel the grid, in order to fuel the matrix. And now this is not to scare you. This is just to inform you so you can be the sovereign, you can be in your sovereignty and declare what it is that you welcome in and what it is that you don't want in. And what's happening in the astral realm is these beings and these entities will have sex with you while you are sleeping in order to get your pleasure centers open, to make you sexually activated and so forth, in order for them to harness and harvest your sexual energy. Because when you think about it, when you have an orgasm, you are releasing a lot of energy, which is why, like, for example, as I've been preparing for this ayahuasca ceremony, I was not to have sex or masturbate for like a week or two leading up. And that's because it's so that you can hold more energy within you. Right? So a lot of us, when we have an orgasm, we actually are kind of like releasing a bunch of life force energy, which can be used towards your creative projects and your business and so forth instead. Right? And so what's happening when that energy releases, these beings or these entities scoop up that energy and they feed off that energy to continue to keep these fear matrices, etc., alive in the matrix, alive in you know, in the collective consciousness. And so when she had spoke about this, I had said, wow, that's exactly what had happened earlier this week. And this has been happening increasing amount of times over the last few months. So kind of think back to your own like sex dreams. Are there certain sex dreams that feel very, very, very real, where you can feel your body in the physical getting excited, but there's a part of you that doesn't want it? There's a part of you that you feel almost captivated, like you can't break the spell. Okay? So it's very important, you know, like before you go to sleep, to just set an intention with your higher self for her to be the gatekeeper of your unconscious mind, of your subconscious mind, of your Akashic records, and of your astral field, and to protect your sexual energy, to call your sexual energy back to you after you've had an orgasm or after you've had sex, so that you can hold on to that energy, because we are expanding as women. We are holding a lot more energy so that we can birth and create at the level that we are meant to, so that we can feel the pleasure at the level that we're supposed to, that we used to feel in the ancient times before all of this, like, before everything got fucked up. To put it bluntly. Before everything just got fucked up. Right? So, I don't want to scare you ladies, but I also want to bring it to your awareness, as well as to just set an intention on what you want your guides and your team to work on you while you're sleeping, while you're in your dream time sleep. You know, sometimes I'll just say, can you please help me open my heart more? Please work on this while I'm sleeping, etc. Right? And also, I need to get in the habit of this. I kind of stop and go with it, stop and go. I recommend dream journaling. Starting to journal about your dreams. As soon as you wake up, write out what you can remember about your dreams, because it signifies to your unconscious mind that you want to remember more of it, and you will begin to remember more of your dreams. And this kind of helps you be able to do lucid dreaming, etc., because you're just becoming more aware of your dream time state. Very, very powerful, because there's so many messages in dreams. And in our sleep time state, you know, we're traveling to different dimensions. We're having meetings with with the Galactic Federation, with our Galactic Council. We are in the war between the light and the dark in the astral plane. We're doing massive healing. We're doing so much in our dream state. And it's pretty cool when you can remember some of that. You know, sometimes I get glimpses of dreams where it's very celestial, and I just see my higher self doing like all sorts of beautiful angelic work, and it's very cosmic and beautiful. Actually, last night was one of those nights that I just would see her just surrounded in like this gold energy, and so much light is permeating off of her, and I don't remember much of it, but I just know she's doing something big, and it's pretty epic. So be mindful. Just be very mindful. And remember, it is your sovereign right and your sovereign power to command over your reality. So this is you declaring that any sort of 5G frequencies cannot affect you. This is you declaring that you have a 12D shield of light up around you that no man-made electric, magnetic, radiation and frequencies can permeate through. As soon as you say it, envision it, it's done. Believe in that. The energetic world is the real world. Everything that's reflected outside of us is the distorted, like, illusion. Right? And that's something too, I'm going to say this again in here. Remember that your external reality is an outdated version of what you have going on internally. But now, because these frequencies are so, they're like palpable, like you can taste them, you can play with them, you can shapeshift with them. the external reality is upgrading a lot quicker to catch up with the shifts that you've been making in your internal reality. So don't get tripped up and give your power away to what you're seeing reflected outside of you. Take lessons from what you see reflected outside of you and be doing the work inside to shift that, but trust that once you do the work to shift it inside, you will see it reflected out. It's already done. Feel into that. You can feel the frequency of it being done before you actually see it reflected outside of you. Very powerful. That's a very, very powerful gold nugget right there. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about solstice. So this is on December 21st, Winter Solstice, and such a beautiful time of year. The nights are getting longer. You know, the sun is down, dipped below the horizon by like 4 o'clock, 4:30. And it's this time where we do feel a call to rest more. And especially while we have been going through such massive transformation, we have been integrating such powerful light codes. The light codes that are coming down are moving through our bodies, going down into Earth, and then Earth is also sending light codes back up through us, or frequencies back up through us. We have been shifting, we have been morphing, everything has been changing. Our DNA has been activated, our cells are restructuring. It's incredible what's happening to humanity right now, whether they are aware of it or not. It's just those of us that are more in tune with the energies that, you know, can feel it. We're a lot more aware of what's going on, right? There's many of you, including myself, that have been experiencing really intense ascension symptoms. Anxiety, just like heavy body, crazy fatigue, a lot of ear stuff happening right now, like ears popping, plugged ears, ears ringing, feeling like a tickle inside your eardrum or itchy. You know, before I hopped on this call, the top of my head was so itchy. Like I could just feel that there was a frequency coming through, and it was just the feeling of the frequency just like was kind of like a mosquito, you know, buzzing around in the room. I felt that like coming through my head, the top of my head, and I just was like itchy and I could feel it coming through. A lot of people are experiencing itches all over their body, or like hives or acne, as our digestive systems are just having trouble processing and digesting any sort of processed foods, which can show up in our skin and the acne. Really sensitive bodies, like sensitive spines, pain in our joints, in our spines, in our knees, in our feet, in our pelvic area. Then we've also been feeling beautiful sensations. I've been feeling like this gorgeous pulsing sensation and this heat in my sacral chakra. It feels so good. And it's different than like a turn on feeling, but it is very pleasurable. Some of you have been noticing that your periods are shifting, you know, and I think there's headaches, there's dizziness. Some days people are feeling nauseous, right? We're experiencing a myriad of ascension symptoms right now. And the most important thing, especially as we're approaching solstice here in 11 days, is to rest. It is to rest. And so if that means canceling social engagements because you just don't have the energy, that's what you do. If that means allowing yourself to sleep in for an extra hour and go to bed a little bit earlier, that's what you do. It's important to be swapping out things like Netflix to be more in like your ceremonial things in the evening, to be playing with your tarot, your journaling, doing yin yoga, being in candlelight, talking to your guide, shamanic journeying, meditating, etc. I know it's easy this time of year to like watch Christmas movies and stuff, and I totally am doing that too, but I'm also having a balance of having my times, my sacred space in the evenings, just really be sitting in the magic and the energy of this time and listening listening to what my guides have to say, listening and feeling into the energies that are coming down right now, right? So, on solstice, the longest night of the year, I mean, I'm probably gonna do another podcast before then, but be out in nature, go for a walk in the forest, decorate a tree outside with like dried oranges and fruits and stuff, and, you know, pick up some pine cones and some spruce tree clippings and some moss and bring that into your home to make a wreath with some twigs or something like that. You know, just thank nature, and honor that stillness, honor that pull that you feel right now to just be. You're doing so much work in other dimensions, even if you don't feel like you're doing much in this reality. You are dismantling old 3D grids. You're dismantling distortions. The work that you're doing in your own field, in your own consciousness, is creating a ripple effect through the collective consciousness. What you heal through you heal through those around you. You know, I think it was the Abundance book by John Randolph Price, which I highly recommend if you haven't read it. It was a very huge, huge shift in my consciousness around wealth consciousness and dismantling the poverty consciousness that I've been carrying most of my life. I only just this year really dismantled that and came into my sovereign power as the creator of wealth, as the creator of success. And he talks about how do not recognize scarcity in others, because then that means you believe in scarcity. And that took me a long time to kind of get my mind around it, but I understand that now. Because if you see scarcity in others, you're also seeing that then reflected from within you. What's within you is reflected outside of you. So if you have scarcity programs running in you, you're going to pick up on the scarcity programs that you see outside of you as well. And so now, because I'm operating from wealth consciousness and have done a massive, massive shift and quantum leap in my finances, you know, when I talk to my family that I had been programmed by with this scarcity consciousness, I don't see them in that scarcity place anymore. I know that they have everything that they need and more. And as a result, this is gonna sound crazy, but I know you'll vibe with it. As a result, I've seen my belief of wealth consciousness and my money beliefs begin to be reflected in my family's life. Where, for example, my mom's dental work was $1,000 less than what she anticipated it to be. So she was able to buy herself a new pair of glasses, which her glasses they were 13 years old. They ended up getting a higher insurance payout for a certain damage that they had done to their house from hail than what they expected. They thought they were going to get like 20% of what it was supposed to be, and they got way more than expected. Whereas I used to always have this like worry and fear about that, you know, like I'm going to have to take care of my parents financially and so forth. And so I would see them in this super scarce place, and I would like just reflect so much of my scarcity stuff onto them. And now that's completely shifted, where I see them as having everything that they need and more, and they're so supported. And I'm actually like, there's beautiful things flowing into life as a result. So I'm going to leave that, just that little seed, that nugget to put in your mind for you to digest on. So we're at 34 minutes, so I want to wrap this up. I'm sending you all so much love during this beautiful time. It is an honor to be walking this journey with you of ascending and dismantling these distortions and timeline jumping and birthing a new reality, birthing a new earth. We are the mamas of new earth. We are birthing a whole new consciousness, a whole new way of being. And it is an honor to be in this space with you, doing this work, radiating out our magic, shifting, disrupting paradigms, disrupting patterns. And so I want to let you know that this is the last week to enroll in Ascension Ninja, my 6-week private coaching container that I'm offering right now, which is all about helping you navigate these 5th dimensional frequencies that are available to us right now, helping you with collapsing and clearing timelines. This is past timelines, future timelines, parallel timelines, so that you can have your full energy and power in the now, so you can powerfully manifest. This is all about helping you clear those distortions in your energetic field, traumas, poverty consciousness, slavery consciousness, dismantling those consciousness grids that cannot exist in this new earth, as well as helping you lay the 5th dimensional grid work of the reality that it is that you desire, and helping you expand your consciousness and clear your channel to expand and grow into that, so you can see that desired reality reflected outside of you. So I'm having, and this also includes a 30-minute bonus breathwork, I should add. So if you're feeling the call, if you feel the pull, just reach out to me on Facebook. You can find me at Mary Wright, WRIGHT. That's my married name. Or you can find me on my business page, Mary Enns, ENNS. That's my maiden name. You can join us at the Sacred She Pack group on Facebook. It's a really, really beautiful community. Super intimate, high frequency. We're all on this path of ascension together. That's a Sacred She Pack. You can find me on Instagram, Mary_J_coaching. Or you can email me at coachmaryens@gmail.com. If you enjoyed this episode, I encourage you, and I would really appreciate it if you left me a review just to help get this episode or the show out to more women like yourself, as well as share it with a sister who you know is in the depths of this ascension process and could use the support and use the resources that are provided in this show to assist you in your ascension process, in your process of really coming to your sovereign power. So I'm sending you so much love. I'm wishing you the most beautiful cosmic 12/12 portal, which is at 12:12 Eastern Standard Time AM, which is so, so beautiful. May you activate your ancient template that is 5th dimensional and higher. And so it is. And so it is. And so it is.